Right now, in the dark waters off Venezuela's coast, a high seas pursuit is underway. The U.S. Coast Guard is chasing an oil tanker that refused to stop. This is the third vessel targeted in less than 2 weeks under a blockade ordered directly by President Trump. Russia just weighed in. Oil markets are reacting. The tanker has direct ties to Iran. And just hours ago at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump announced a major expansion of American naval power. New warships are coming. The Golden Fleet will be 100 times more powerful than anything ever built. What happens next could reshape how America projects strength on the global stage. And here's why this matters to everybody. For years, sanctioned regimes have smuggled oil through gray zones, evading consequences and funding hostile operations. Venezuela and Iran have run these networks while the world issues sternly worded letters. Well, that era has just ended under President Trump. He's ordered a complete blockade of sanctioned oil tankers entering or leaving Venezuela. Not a diplomatic request, a physical barrier enforced by the United States Coast Guard. The message to shippers, insurers, and foreign governments, it's unmistakable. Test this line and you will be boarded, seized, or stopped. Markets are already responding. Oil prices ticked up as traders realize this is not theater. It's a choke point. When Russia felt compelled to proudly declare support for Maduro, that said everything. The pressure is real. The blockade is biting. And with today's announcement of new warships and a revitalized American fleet, this is only the beginning. Now, the breaking news like this reminds us why being prepared isn't optional anymore. When global tensions rise and supply chains get squeezed, the families who planned ahead sleep better at night. That's why I'm telling you about the Buy One, Gift Two Christmas special from My Patriot Supply. It's this month only. When you buy one emergency food kit, you get 2 more absolutely free. Grab a 4-week supply for yourself, and they'll include 2 one-week kits, perfect as gifts for loved ones who need that nudge towards preparedness. In a world where blockades and conflicts and shortages can happen overnight, having emergency food stored away just makes sense. So head to preparewithgary.com right now. This holiday offer will not last. That's preparewithgary.com. Now, here's where it gets even more serious. The tanker being pursued is called the Bella 1, and U.S. officials have linked it directly to Iran. Now, this is not just about Venezuela anymore. This is about a network of sanctioned states coordinating to evade American enforcement. 3 tankers in 12 days. The second vessel was seized on December 20th with tactical boarding teams caught on video. The Bella 1 refused the boarding order. I think we have the video here of that boarding as it's happening. Let's see. This is a screenshot. This is another shot here. I thought we had it. This is... maybe this is it? No. Let's see. Here's the footage here. There's a quad box shot here for you. So the Bella 1 here refused a boarding order, and then the pursuit went active. Today at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump stood with Defense Secretary Hegseth, Navy Secretary Phelan, and Secretary of State Rubio to announce a historic naval expansion. The new warships are coming. American shipbuilding is being revitalized, and the era of American power is returning with force. Here's some of that footage from that amazing Coast Guard action. Right over the deck. Here, this is a longer shot. This is unclassified video. It's possibly drone footage or another helicopter angle. monitoring the situation. Could be directly from the ship. I'm not sure how this really how this all functions, but you can see the action. More shots, dude. This is just crazy. What's happening right now? It feels like I'm watching a movie, but this is straight up real life. Let's go to Mar-a-Lago in a second. This is this ties it up to Iran. The Iranian-linked oil tanker identified as Bella 1 is evading United States forces by refusing to submit to boarding in international waters.
On X about all this. Officials say this Iranian-linked tanker is a dark fleet vessel, part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasion. They say it's flying a false flag, and we could get an update over at Mar-a-Lago this evening from President Trump and his secretaries of War and Navy. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posting on X about all this, saying in part, quote, "The United States will continue to pursue the illicit movement of sanctioned oil that is used to fund narco-terrorism in the region. We will find you and we will stop you. Thank you to our brave men and women of the U.S. Coast Guard and Department of War." But not all Republicans are okay with seizing these vessels.
I consider it a provocation and a prelude to war, and I hope we don't go to war with Venezuela. It isn't the job of the American soldier to be the policeman of the world.
Also internationally, President Trump announcing last night he's appointing Louisiana. Officials say this Iranian-linked tanker is a dark fleet vessel, part of Venezuela's illegal sanctions evasion.
False flags to evade. This is not going to end well, friends. This is not going to end well. When I was talking with Todd this morning about the situation, I said it's really only a matter of time before Maduro decides to declare war. And with Russia stepping up and saying that they're going to be supporting Maduro, Venezuela is going to think they got some big balls now, right? Oh, well, Russia's backing us, so we will declare war. They can easily see these things, these blockades, as an act of war. So we are heading into something that is unprecedented. Let me see if I can find that post regarding Putin before I go to Mar-a-Lago. U.S. oil blockade of Venezuela pushes Cuba into economic collapse, like they weren't already. Let's see. We got all these clips here. U.S. forces. There was. Let's see. Where's the message about? Let's see. I'm looking for the Putin reference. It could be in that Russia Today post. I'm gonna get it for you. Normally, I'm a little bit more organized. Okay. White House clarifies. So the Russia Today post says third tanker off Venezuela boarded. White House clarifies seized tanker carrying sanctioned oil. Anyway, let's go to Mar-a-Lago. I will see if I can find that reference. Here's Trump talking about laser beams and hypersonics.
Been starting to. The battleships are going to be armed just in terms of guns and missiles at the highest level. They'll also have hypersonic weapons, many hypersonic weapons, state-of-the-art electric rail guns, and even the high-powered lasers that you've been starting to read about. We have lasers where you aim the laser, wipes it out. We're going to have, they'll be the most sophisticated lasers in the world, and the most sophisticated laser in the world will be on the battleships that we're building. She launched cruise missiles.
Standoff with the United States 3 minutes ago. Russia has reaffirmed its full support and solidarity with Venezuela. This is huge. This ruins the theory that Putin may have agreed with Trump not to interfere in Venezuela in exchange for Trump not interfering with Ukraine, or Putin is just making sure Trump remembers what he agreed to. Yeah, it's starting to get deep here. Let's go to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth talking about this new class and new investments.
Merit-based. Well, Mr. President, you're exactly right. There are no fishing poles, no fishermen, and no fishing boats. Just drug dealers and narco-terrorists. And with every strike, we're saving American lives. No other president was willing to do real deterrence. That's exactly what's happening. It's an honor to be here, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, Secretary Rubio, to talk about what peace through strength really looks like. You can talk about it, or you can invest in it and you can build it. And that's exactly what President Trump is doing. At the Department of War, we're restoring the warrior ethos. In fact, the president mentioned the NDAA. We put into law merit-based. We put into law getting rid of DEI and political correctness. That's now part of how our military operates. And you've seen it in record recruiting in the spirit at the Department of War. We're rebuilding the military. President Trump did it once. He's doing again with historic investments today in shipbuilding. And we're reestablishing deterrence, whether that's at the border, whether it's through Golden Dome, what happened with Midnight Hammer and what Iran found out, those drug boats, and of course the Houthis opening up the shipping lanes. American strength is back on the world stage. And the announcement of the Golden Fleet, anchored by new battleships, the biggest and most lethal ever, accomplishes all three of those things and marks a generational commitment to American sea power. Across the entire department, we are developing new operational concepts, deploying cutting-edge technologies, and making major investments, including in our Navy. This is happening in all domains, including space, as the President has talked about before anyone else. So it's the highest of domains and the lowest of domains under sea, and especially today in sea power, that always has to be decisive, has been in the history of America, and will continue to be under the leadership of President Trump. We will make sure that anything that flows from our country and with our allies flows freely and uncontested. New and better ships will provide that deterrent today and for generations to come. This new class, these new investments, will be the types of things that for decades, for centuries, the American people will look back and thank President Trump for having the vision and the willingness to invest right now in capabilities we need today, tomorrow, and long into the future. So, Mr. President, thank you for this investment. Well, Mr. President, you're...
Hell yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Here's Secretary Rubio.
I don't have much to add. This is a phenomenal presentation. Thank you, Mr. President. This is American industrial power returning. This is the ability, once again, to rebuild, to have industry in the United States. This is generational in the change, not just in terms of applying American war power, increasing our ability to protect the seas. The U.S. Navy is the single biggest source of peace in the world of all of our forces because it gives us a global footprint. But it rebuilds American industrial capacity. The ability to make things again in our country has been critical to what the President's agenda has been all about, and this is a tangible reminder of it. And I know the country's grateful for it, and generations of Americans will be grateful for it. So thank you.
Think about all the presidents that came before President Trump. All they did was cripple the United States. They crippled it. They crippled our military, downsized, got rid of bases. I mean, it's been going on for years and years and years. But this is all part of a big, grand, global plan to weaken the United States. And that's one of the reasons why they hate Trump so much, is because he is bringing back American dominance. And if America falls, then the globalists win. They'll have complete control over the entire planet, and then there's no Mayflower to get on. Do you understand what I'm saying? So President Trump clearly is making every single move in every single area of the United States, moving at breakneck speed to restore America as a global and respected power. That the globalists will bow before us because we don't bow to the freaking globalists. Okay. Let's see here. The seized oil. Let's talk about this.
Going to do with...
Speaking of Venezuela, oil. What are we going to do with the oil that we have?
Going to do with what?
The oil that has been seized. The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it? Are we going to sell it or put it in the strategic oil
Maybe we'll
reserve?
sell it. Maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also.
Speaking of Venezuela.
Keeping the ships also. Trump's going to refill the strategic reserves that Joe Biden emptied for political expediency during an election. President Trump talking about the amount of legal drugs that are coming in
of illegal drugs. You just referenced the lower amount of illegal drugs that are coming by sea, and you just said that you're going to start that same program on land soon. Are you just referring to Venezuela, or are you referring to other countries in Latin America?
Anywhere drugs are pouring in, anywhere, not just Venezuela. No.
Oh yeah, Venezuela's the first on the list. That's wild. Let's go to the initial announcement by the president.
Construction of two brand new. As Commander-in-Chief, it is my great honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You know, you used to build the Iowa, the bigger, but they will have 100 times they'll be 100 times the force, the power, and there's never been anything like these ships. These have been under design consideration for a long time. And it started with me in my first term, because I said, why aren't we doing battleships like we used to? And these are the best in the world. They'll be the fastest, the biggest, and by far 100 times more powerful than any battleship ever built. So if you look at the Iowa, the Missouri, Wisconsin, Alabama, and others, but they were similar in size, some a little bit bigger than the others. But if you take the biggest one, it's 100 times more powerful. They're longer by a little bit, but and they're bigger. They're bigger ships, but they hold much more. They use the word lethality. As Commander-in-Chief.
That's the word. That's the word of the day, folks. Lethality. Speaking of lethality, here's what he's talking about.
Ships, these cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. They will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines. We have submarines which will have, in many ways, even more lethality, and we have many of them under construction. Each one of these will be the largest battleship in the history of our country, the largest battleship in the history of the world ever built. And again, it's 100 times more powerful than the previous Iowa class, it's called. Those are the big ones that you'd see on a show. Victory at Sea. I don't know if anyone's seen Victory at Sea, but it was a classic. They'll help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, and inspire fear in America's enemies all over the world. We want respect. We're going to have it. We already have it. We're more respected now than we ever were. A year and a half ago, they laughed at us. Now they respect us again at levels that they've never respected us. We envision that these two ships, we're talking about 10, but we're going to start with 2, and we're going to quickly morph into 10. And ultimately, we think it's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25 of
Holy
these.
cow.
But we're starting with the first 2 immediately, and we're going to then be very quickly involved with, I think, we're going to do another 8, and then we're going to ultimately and pretty quickly have a total of about 20 to 25. We'll make that determination.
How much you want to bet he's going to name them all after his family? USS Trump, USS Melania, USS Don Jr., USS Eric Trump, USS Ivanka, USS Barron. Oh, yeah, you know that's coming, folks. Now, here's what the establishment doesn't want you to focus on. You see, this is only the opening phase. When a president deploys maritime enforcement this aggressively and announces a major naval buildup on the same day, it's really not about a tanker or a country. It's about resetting the global order of who controls the seas and who dares to defy American authority. The shipping corridors that operated in the shadows are now under the spotlight. And with new warships on the way, the spotlight is about to get a lot brighter. So the story matters because it proves that American power means nothing if it isn't backed by action. And now it's being backed by steel. For years, hostile regimes laughed at sanctions because no one enforced them. Oil flowed, money moved, networks expanded, and Washington did nothing but complain. That's just changed. President Trump didn't ask for permission. He didn't wait for international consensus. He didn't wait for the poll numbers to come out. He ordered a blockade, The Coast Guard is executing it, and today he announced a historic naval expansion to back it up. 3 tankers were targeted, 2 seized, 1 pursued, new warships coming, refilling the strategic oil reserves with the seized oil. And Russia is nervous enough to make statements. The era of consequence-free defiance is ending. You see, this is what strength looks like. Not speeches, but action. Not warnings, but warships. So here's my question. Let's talk about it in the comments. Is America finally projecting the naval power it should? Yes or no? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop linked below.